Okay. Seviper. What can we do to make Arbok's terrible cousin better? It's a cool looking Pokemon. Him and Zangoose are very cool. I like them. I think they have really cool designs. They're only single evolutions, and they're singular typing. So, not much really going for it. What can we talk about Seviper? Seviper, let's pull up his stats and info real quick. One second here. Right here. Okay. That's in a fine spot. Okay. Seviper's offensive stats, 100 per each one. Pretty good. Speed is 65. Pretty dreadful. Not good. We've already talked about Electros, how speed can kind of just make or break a Pokemon. But unlike Electros, this thing does not have the defenses to live another hit. It'll die in one hit. It's really fragile. And for a Poison-type Pokemon, that is not a defining trait. So what that means, I give Poison-type as an advantage. You don't get poisoned, and you're pretty good defensively. But in this case, being a Poison-type does not do this thing any favors. It's got terrible speed, terrible bulk. Abilities are very decent at best and bad at worst. What am I talking about? Infiltrator is a pretty good ability, but it's very unique. It only works on subs. And Light Screen, Mist, and Aurora Veils and Safeguards. That's very, very rare that actually applies. So how much are you really getting out of this ability in comparison to Shed Skin, which is 33% chance to have its status cured at the end of each turn? Okay, who cares? Like, my status gets cured, but it's only a 33% chance. It's not definitive. It's not always going to happen. It's not that good of an ability. Let's just say it like that. Because if you get paralyzed or something like that, or burned, like whatever, it's still luck of the draw if you get that cured. So Shed Skin's not that great, but Infiltrator's not much better. You might as well just take Shed Skin. Who knows? So this thing has a problem with identity, essentially. It's not as good of other Poison-type Pokemon as attacking, and its abilities don't help it out. So what am I going to do to maybe help it out? I have two cool abilities that I thought of for Seviper, and it fits its theme. Seviper, a lot of its Pokemon Pokedex entries talk about how it uses its bladed tail to counter Zangoose, and it has bladed tail that sharpens on rocks, and it uses it for secreted poison and stuff. Basically, it's really nasty looking tail, and it can do tons of damage if you hit with it. So I came up with an ability called Blade Tail. It's very lame, but, you know, I'm not the best at making names up. But basically, tail attacks get a 1.3 damage % increase, similar to Iron Fist and Life Orb. Let's go over the abilities that are affected by this that Mr. Seviper knows. Aqua Tail, Dragon Tail. I know there's another one. I think there's Poison Tail, too. Iron Tail, Poison Tail. I think that's it. Yes. Okay. So that's 4 abilities right there, but it just gets increased to tail moves. Nothing too crazy, just something addition. But the other ability I also really like too. Now, I could just say, wow, just give this thing Merciless and its attack increases when it's attacking a poison Pokemon. That would be really cool. But I gave it something else instead. Venom Hunter. When a Pokemon takes poison damage or acquires the poison status when Seviper is in, Seviper gets 1.5 speed. It plays with that theme that if Seviper sees something that's, you know, under the influence of venom or poisoned or something like that, it's like ready to pounce or it's going to make its move on it. So I'm playing with like what a snake kind of does when it's hunting. It reacts when something's available to maybe pounce on or attack or something like that once it's actually weakened. So this applies if something else is toxic or you have toxic spikes out there. If something just takes toxic damage when you're in, 1.5 speed increase. Even if it takes it over turns and turns and turns again, still very cool. I really like that theme that Seviper just gets more and more agile as the Pokemon gets weaker and weaker in vitality. So it just gets faster. And therefore, you can kind of salvage its speed stat. But again, I could probably just increase its stats, but I really want to try getting abilities in there that makes it really cool. So I just went with you can either do Venom Hunter or Blade Tail. Either one of them is good. Blade Tail is on the weaker side, but I think it gives it some uniqueness. Again, pair these with maybe a move pool increase or a stat increase, and you're rolling with something pretty good here. But I think these cool abilities potentially give Seviper a fighting chance. Okay. Third Pokemon we're going to talk about. Drift